You're listening to PumaPodcast.
Hi, I'm Bella Perez Rubio, Puma Podcast for Teka Teka News. In this episode, we ask, what does it take to lead some of the most successful health campaigns in our country's history? Juan Flavier was known for his many contributions to public health, including effective initiatives against smoking, micronutrient malnutrition, and AIDS. His campaign, Oplan Alis Disease, even helped the Philippines become polio-free in the year 2000. And all of this was done not through fear, but through lightheartedness and humor. In honor of World Humanitarian Day, we remember the life of former Senator and Health Secretary Juan Flavier, who knew that the first step to healing Filipinos was to win their hearts. Let's listen to the snippet from Bago Ang Lahat, a podcast by Youth Leadership for Democracy that looks into the lives of Filipino figures before they became the leaders we know today.
Ang taon ay 1992. Ang Pilipinas ay nasa isang health crisis. More than 1 million children are malnourished and more than 100,000 children die before they turn 5 years old. At ang kinamamatay nila ay ang mga sakit na napuksana sa ibang third world countries. Diarrhea, tuberculosis, typhoid fever. Pero isang doktor ang magtatangkang baguhin ang sitwasyong ito. Si Health Secretary Juan Flavier. Inilungsad niya ang programang Ceasefire for Children o Plan Alis Disease. Ito ang pinakamalawak na kampanya sa pagpapabakuna sa kasaysayan ng Pilipinas at hinikayat ni Dr. Flavier ang lahat upang tumulong. He traveled all over the country. He met with celebrities, media practitioners, teachers, priests, and even armed separatists and communist rebels. And he showed how sincere he was by meeting some of them in Zamboanga. There was no security with him. Tanong sa kanya ng isang rebelde, "Alam niyo ba, Doc, na sa isang bala lang ay pwede na kayong mamatay?" Ang sagot niya, "Mabuti pala 4 feet lang ang tangkad ko kung ganun. Mas mahirapan kayong tamaan ako." Tawanan ng lahat at biglang gumaan ang usapan. Tanong ng mga rebelde, "Bakit niyo ba ginagawa to?" Ang sagot niya, "Dahil mahal ko ang inyong mga anak. Kung maaari, padaanin niyo ng ligtas ang ating mga volunteer." Sagot naman nila, "Kung mahal mo ang aming mga anak, mas mahal namin sila. Kaya bibigyan namin kayo ng seguridad at titiyakin naming magagawa ng mga volunteer ang trabaho nila." And so at the end of the quote-unquote ceasefire, almost 100% of children were vaccinated. Let's get to know the man behind this victory. Hi Sam, kamusta? So you're an occupational therapy student. This is very exciting. Anong alam mo tungkol kay Dr. Juan Flavier?
Alam mo, Kat, ang pinakatumatak sa akin ay ang popular line niya na "You can do it."
Yeah.
Kasama ang kanyang catchy taglines like "Iyosi Kadiri" at pagpapasinaya ng Doctor to the Barrios program.
Yeah, oo nga, yung "You can do it" na yan. Hanggang ngayon, nagagamit pa yan eh. Well, actually, ako naman, I had the privilege of having his son, si Dr. Jondi Flavier, as my host dun sa isa naming show sa Signal TV called Clinica Flavier. So, this is a very good story. Actually, I'm very excited for this.
True. Actually, ngayon, malalaman natin ang kwento ng buhay niya through his own words. Meron kasi tayo ng autobiography niya. Ang title nito, From Barrio to Senado. Alam mo, Kat, may makakasama rin tayo ngayong special guests.
Hello, I'm Joy Alampay. I'm the Executive Director of Asia Society Philippines. I'm the daughter of Dr. Juan Flavier.
I'm Dr. Jonathan David Aguila Flavier. Most of my friends call me Jondi lang. I keep insisting that I am the improved version of former Senator and Secretary Juan Flavier only because he is 4 feet and 11 inches tall and I am 5 feet 2 inches tall.
Thanks, Doc Jondi. Hi, Miss Joy. Alam po namin na pinanganak ang daddy ninyo noong June 23, 1935. Pero anong klaseng pamilya po ba ang kinalakhan niya?
My grandmother is from Hagonoy, Bulacan, And my grandfather is really from Gumaca, Quezon. Yung lola ko nakahanap ng trabaho sa Philippine Refining Company. Siya nagbabalot ng mga sabon doon. So, sa Tondo, Manila talaga sila lumaki. Tapos, nagsara yung kumpanya. So, nawalan sila ng trabaho. So, my grandparents decided to go to the mines sa Balatok.
Ayon mismo sa autobiography ni Juan, mahirap ang buhay nila noong simula. Nagkakilala ang mga magulang niya sa isang factory ng sabon. Si Inay Kikay, nagbabalot ng sabon. At si Itay Doming naman, nagmamanufacture ng machine parts. Later on, nagbenta rin ng ukay-ukay si Inay Kikay para mapaaral ang mga bata. At nang tanungin siya ni Juan kung bakit siya pandak, ang sagot ni Itay Doming, "Wala kaming mapakain sa iyo eh." Noong sinabi naman ni Juan sa nanay niya na gusto niyang magdoktor, ang sagot nito, "Sa awa ng Diyos, gagawan natin ang paraan ng milagro." 1941 nang pumutok ang World War II. 6 years old lang si Juan at kasisimula pa lang niyang mag-aral.
Yung where he gets his love of storytelling, galing pala sa lolo ko. Kasi you can imagine wartime in shelters or when there's a blackout, yung lolo ko daw provided the entertainment. Siya yung magkwekwento na apparently made up.
Natapos man ang gyera noong 1945, nagsara naman ang mga minahan. Lumipat ang pamilyang Flavier sa Baguio, kung saan nakahanap ng trabaho si Itay Doming sa Camp John Hay bilang machinist. At si Juan, tuloy na ang pag-aaral.
Pag pumupunta kami sa Baguio noon at buhay pa noon yung mga teachers niya na favorite niya daw and siya yung favorite, kinikwento nila that he was smart and bright but also very helpful in the classes.
Marami siyang awards eh. And the one he likes telling us was when he won a typewriting contest with their family not having a typewriter. So nagdrawing lang siya sa cardboard ng QWERTY keyboards and practiced with that.
Bukod sa pagiging bibo sa school at sa pag-uwi ng limpak-limpak na awards, isa ring aktibong bata si Juan. He would run around, gather firewood, plant crops, and make friends with the Igorots. The kids even helped Itay Doming build their house.
But of course, Juan didn't escape the usual childhood bullying. His classmates teased him about his height. Near tears, he was reassured by his teacher at tandang-tanda pa niya ang pangalan nito, si Miss Victorina Paraan. Ang sabi nito sa kanya, "It's not the flagpole that matters, but the banner you carry." Nabuhayan si Juan dito and he excelled throughout his schooling at the old Government Center Elementary School, which is now the Mabini Elementary School in Baguio, where he finished at the top of his class. And he also finished valedictorian at Baguio City High School. Actually, masipag din si Juan. Nagtrabaho siya bilang ballboy sa mga tennis court, naging caddy siya sa Camp John Hay, at naging waiter pa siya sa teacher's camp. Ang gusto niya sa trabahong to, pwede daw niyang kainin yung tira.
Para nakaka-relate ata ako kay Dr. Juan dito. Pero noong 1952, Kat, lumuwas ng Maynila si Juan para magkolehiyo sa University of the Philippines, Diliman. Aktibo siya sa student council at ang kanyang mentor ay si Father John Delaney, isang aktivistang Amerikano na takbuhan ng mga probinsyanong tulad ni Juan. At the time, namatay ang isang estudyante dahil sa hazing ng fraternity nito. At tumakbo si Juan sa ilalim ng UP Student Catholic Action with the line, "You call me brother and then you hurt me." Nanalo siya bilang representative ng College of Liberal Arts. Para kay Father Delaney, konektado ang fraternities sa mga sakit sa lipunan tulad ng corruption, nepotism, and inefficiency in government dahil pinoprotektahan ng fraternities ang mga miyembro nila kahit hindi na tama. Pag-usapan natin ang med school days ni Juan. Kakaiba siya kasi hindi siya mahilig sa mga textbook. Sa halip, ang binabasa niya ay yung mga pinakabagong medical journals sa school library. Pero alam mo, that meant mababa ang marka niya tuwing written exam.
Well, Juan was, however, way ahead of the game pagdating sa practical side ng med school. Bilang machinist nga si Tatay Domeng, he made probes, scalpels, and even stethoscopes for his son. At dahil dito, pagdating ni Juan ng second year, napakarami na niyang nagawang maliliit na surgery. Libreng tuli para sa mga pamangkin, pagtanggal ng mga cysts sa balat.
Grabe no, ang dami niyang nagawa na. But Juan's real education happened in the emergency room of the Philippine General Hospital. Sabi niya sa kanyang libro,
We treated and managed and saw everything, it seemed. Joy and laughter in birth, surprise, at the infinite ways that people can hurt themselves and others. Pain was present in every conceivable case. I took time to talk to patients, as much for their therapy as my own sanity. Women pregnant with their 6th, 7th, 8th child made light of their poverty. Drunk men with holes in their heads owned up to their stupidity. Children, both young and old, learned to pray and asked me to join them occasionally.
namigay siya ng gamot at may libre pang biro pagkatapos. Para sa kanya, nakakatulong ang pagpapatawa sa paghilom. 2 months after his wedding in 1961, Dr. Flavier packed his bags and took the bus to Nueva Ecija, where PRRM, or the Philippine Rural Reconstruction Movement, was.
At that time, almost 80% of Nueva Ecija residents were farm tenants. This was also when the Hukbalahap were all over central Luzon. They were communist rebels who were guerrilla fighters in World War II. The governor wanted his people to have an option other than armed struggle, and that was rural reconstruction.
The goal, according to the PRRM website, is community empowerment and education, local economy development, ecological sustainability, resiliency building, and health for all. Big words, no? Pero ganito siya in practice. Imagine nyo si Dr. Flavier, isang rare Pokemon sa isang village na bihira makakita ng medical practitioner. Inisa-isa niya ang mga bahay upang magpakilala. Tao po, ako po si Juan Flavier, doktor ng Pararam. Yun ang tawag ng mga taga-baryo sa PRRM. Makikipagtsikahan siya, tapos makikipagsalo-salo sa tanghalian. Pagdating ng hapon, balik clinic siya upang i-check up ang mga pasyente, bata man o matanda. Ganito niya nakuha ang tiwala ng mga mamamayan.
Yeah, think about it. At that time, more than 3/4 of the Filipino people were dying without ever seeing a doctor in their lives. At hindi lang kalusugan ang problema. There were no roads, no electricity, and no toilets. That barrio where Dr. Flavier was working, the average educational attainment wasn't even grade 4.
Sa PRRM, they preached family planning using agricultural metaphors para madaling maintindihan, and they taught mothers how to care for their children's health. They adapted to the situation and respected and accommodated traditional beliefs. Dr. Flavier loved rural life. He learned from the people, and it was in the barrios that he experienced many firsts. The first time to meet a hukbalahap, to talk to an NPA, to drink with soldiers. In IIRR, he would help triple the average household income in the area. By 2001, more than 10,000 development workers from all over the world would have undergone training here. But he wouldn't stay in the barrios forever.
President Fidel V. Ramos appointed Dr. Flavier as Health Secretary in 1992. Flavier was 56 years old by this time. Now we have another guest, someone who worked with Dr. Flavier when he was Secretary of Health.
I'm Susan Pineda Mercado or Susy Mercado. I'm a public health practitioner. I'm a medical doctor and I was his head executive assistant.
Nagulat po kami actually no nagre-research kami na 3 taon lang po pala siya sa DOH. Sa tingin niyo po, bakit hanggang ngayon tandang-tanda pa rin siya ng mga tao?
Well, Manang Johnny was really a very charismatic, folksy leader. He is associated with very important public health campaigns on family planning, HIV, tobacco, even hypertension, We plotted out 23 different campaigns, which became well known because he was a good spokesperson. He didn't need coaching. He didn't need a lot of experts to tell him what to say. He just knew because he was a public health person. He knew how to communicate.
Saka po si Secretary Flavier, lagi nagpapatawa, no? Hindi po kailangan palaging seryoso ang approach para maging effective ang programs ng DOH.
No, definitely. I think he believed that every campaign should be light and funny. He understood that fear does not work with Filipinos. He knew that the best thing to do is to poke fun at yourself, and he did that a lot. And people loved that because he was so reachable in that sense. He was not distant or difficult to relate to because he would talk about his height, he would talk about, not knowing how to spell things, not pronouncing things properly. That's such a Pinoy thing.
And of course, who can forget Secretary Flavier's campaign for reproductive health and his fight against HIV and AIDS? As the guy any senator can call up at any time to rescue a committee hearing from oblivion, he helped file more than 500 bills. We have him to thank for the Traditional and Alternative Medicine Act, for an act prescribing measures for the prevention and control of diabetes mellitus, for the AIDS Prevention and Control Act, for the Food Fortification Act, and more.
In 2014, at the age of 79, Senator Flavier passed away after succumbing to pneumonia. Doc Susy, kayo, what is it that you want listeners or those who never experienced his leadership to know about him? And what should we take away from his legacy as we become leaders ourselves?
I think when young people, particularly doctors and public health students, look at the life of Jondi Flavier, I would like them to see that he listened to a different drummer. And I think he will continue to be the icon or the model for how a public health doctor can change things for millions of people through very simple strategies. Many doctors train hard and work long hours to save one patient. And that's a great thing because every life is valuable. But in a country like the Philippines, where a great majority suffer from so many preventable diseases, he put that high on the agenda. For him, his focus was going to be prevention. Manong Johnny will be the icon for true public health leadership and community-oriented work and strong communication that empowers ordinary people to take better care of themselves.
And that was today's episode of Teka Teka News. Again, I'm Bella Perez Rubio. We hope you enjoyed this snippet from Bago Ang Lahat. If you would like more episodes on the stories of Filipino leaders and their youth, search up Bago Ang Lahat on your favorite podcast app. Maraming salamat po.